Hi students, Dr. DeNicola here with a quick video on the feedback that I received from you guys on the Mid Module course evaluation survey, which closed this past Saturday, September 19th. I'm taking a few minutes to discuss these results because I know I hate whenever I take a survey and then I don't find out what the results were, and this is a good way for me to get some global feedback on how everyone is doing so we can make adjustments to the course if needed, and adjustments that you can actually benefit from. Most of the time we just do course evaluations at the end of the course, then the professor doesn't know if there were problems that were going on throughout the module that could have been resolved. So I appreciate you guys taking the time to give me some feedback. So 12 out of 30 students responded to the survey. So that means there was a 40% response rate. So be mindful as you listen to the rest of this video that these results are not representative of the entire class, but I think they've given me some good insight. Thank you to everyone who did participate in the survey. If you didn't participate or forgot, no worries. I do encourage you to continue to reach out to me if you have questions or concerns or even just suggestions about the course. At the end of the module, you will receive an email from LSU to complete the final evaluation for this course. And course evaluations are a component of faculty performance reviews, and they often are generally the only time professors get feedback on how they're doing from students. And I really appreciate this feedback, and I do carefully listen to you and consider it. So I really appreciate the feedback you've given me, and I encourage you to be on the lookout for the end of module survey and to take it. Even if you don't feel like you have much to say, if you can take a minute or two to just fill it out. It's something that's really important to our MSW director and the director of our school to get high response rates from students, so we can make sure that our performance reviews are really indicative of how we are doing. If we don't have a high response rate, then it's a less representative sample. So I'm going to go through each one of the questions that I asked you guys. The first question was, to what extent do you think the purpose and goals of the course are being met? These are the results that I like to see and give me a thumbs up. That students responded that they feel like they're getting the information for the course that they signed up for. Most people said they felt like they were completely met or mostly met. So it seems like I'm on the right track with keeping your assignments and work in line with what the purpose and goals of the course are. Second question was, how satisfied are you in general with the responsiveness of your instructor? I'll be honest, I've been a little slower than usual with my responses this module with everything going on with the hurricane. But I was really encouraged to see that the students who did respond said that they are feeling satisfied with my responsiveness. Number 3, how comfortable are you in general with the class learning environment? Again, these are the results I like to see. No one indicated that they were very uncomfortable or uncomfortable, and most students indicated that they're very comfortable. So that's what I like to see, and is giving me the idea that I'm on the right track right now. The remaining questions were open-ended. The notes that you'll see on these slides are the themes that came up and the responses that were recorded. Question number 4, are there some learning experiences or activities that you'd like to do more of, or a type of resource or attention from your instructor you will like more of? If so, please explain. The 2 main themes that came out of the responses for that question were that many students appreciated learning from neurodivergent people and having videos and podcasts that had neurodivergent people talking about their experiences. And then also, I got the feedback that more of the videos and the audio to supplement the written material is something that students would like more of. And that's something that I can certainly do. I can work on giving you some additional resources with some videos and more audio, because there really are some great videos. There's some great TikTokers and podcasts out there on the issue of neurodiversity. Number 5, are there some things you would like the instructor to do less of? If so, please explain. The overall majority of the responses were either not applicable or none that I can think of, but there were a few comments about too many assignments for each week, and I am going to address my feedback to you guys on that in a couple of slides, because I have a few words of wisdom that I want to share with you. Number 6, is there any feedback you'd like to direct towards your student colleagues? If so, please describe. Most people said none that you can think of, but one person did encourage you guys to take advantage of all the information and to ask questions whenever you don't understand. And I can second that recommendation. Don't ever hesitate to reach out if you have a question. I'm here to help. The last question was an open-ended question. It just asked you to give any other feedback, comments, or suggestions. And some of the themes that arose, again, were that people appreciated the lived experience from blogs and videos. Some people said that they thought that the pace, the content, subject matter was on point. Others mentioned that they liked the autonomy that was allowed and choices, and thought that it was practical content and aligned with social work values. Also, it came up that people liked my approach and thought it was a more personal approach. I smiled whenever I saw that, because I really do work hard to be, be personable with you guys and to work with you within the realities of your life. And then support to students, especially during Hurricane Ida. All right, so there wasn't any major feedback that I'm going to make big changes on in the course, because it seems like everybody's pretty satisfied and things are going pretty well. But I do want to spend some time to give you a little bit of information about what to expect with workload in your courses in accelerated online MSW program. So I know that the reality for many of you is that you're working full time, you're interning part time, and taking 1 or 2 courses. That's a lot. And that's not even eating and sleeping, and you have families and hobbies and interests and need time for self-care. And I really commend you, because this is a big Herculean task that you're taking on, to go to grad school. And I know that many of you are really busy, and I wanted to take a minute to just honor your reality. And I know that you have limited time to devote to the course. And at the same time, online learning really has its benefits and its downfalls. Online learning opens the world of graduate education to people who would otherwise not be able to participate because of where they live, their financial reality of needing to work full time, their family responsibilities, having a disability that makes it more difficult to do on-campus classes, and the list goes on and on. This is one of the many reasons that I love teaching online, because it opens up this opportunity for people that traditionally would not have been able to get their MSW, and it's helping us to have a much more diverse social workforce. But with that being said, as you know, there's also challenges that come with online learning. And one that I find as a professor is that students often enter the program expecting the workload to be comparable to attending a traditional on-campus course. Some of you may be used to online learning, and did your undergraduate education fully online, but for many, if not most of you, I suspect that this is the first time you've been in a fully online program or in an accelerated program like this. And the benefit, as you know, of this is that you don't have to be anywhere at a certain time for classes, and you have the flexibility of really working on your schoolwork whenever it fits your schedule. But this is an accelerated program, so this class is worth 3 Carnegie units, and those are 3 credit hours towards your degree. And that's the same as the 15-week format and the traditional setup. So in a traditional 15-week program, you'll find that on-campus programs at LSU and at many universities this semester or the term is 15 weeks long. Most courses are worth 3 Carnegie units per course at LSU, like this one. You may have taken courses that were worth 1 Carnegie unit or 4, but many universities typically stick to 3 units per course. If this was a course that was taught in a traditional 15-week format, you would be expected to attend class for 3 hours a week, to show up and to be in class for 3 hours. You also would be expected to spend 2 hours per Carnegie unit outside of class on your studies and assignments. So this means that you're expected to spend about 9 hours each course per 15-week semester. In some courses, you may spend more or less than 9 hours, depending on your individual situation and the nature of the course. However, generally, students should expect to have 9 to 10 hours a week per course that they devote to that course when they're taking it in a 15-week semester format. So the program that you're enrolled in is accelerated, and we're on a non-traditional term calendar. During the fall and spring, modules are 7.5 weeks long, like this one. And during the summer, we have moved to having 5.5-week modules. You still earn the same amount of Carnegie units for these courses, but in half the time, or even less than half the time of a traditional course. So while you have the benefit of the flexibility of doing it any time, the expectation is still that you are spending the same amount of time each week as, but even more. So, in some ways, faculty members must condense information in a format that makes it easier to complete in the accelerated format, but the reality is that you should expect to spend about 18 hours per course in a 7.5-week term and 24 hours a week for a summer term. And I can see your mouths dropping in my head now, because there's only so many hours in a week, and it seems impossible to do 18 hours. And on top of that, it's likely that many of you are dealing with additional stressors, and I know that you guys have a lot going on. So with this, though, you need to think that you are expected to spend about 18 hours of time on task for the work that you're doing. On the next slide, I will give you a few suggestions. If you feel like you're spending more than 18 hours of work on the class, some recommendations that I have for you are, number one, reevaluate your standards. In this course, I am looking for really succinct answers. I want you to fully answer the questions that I asked, but the word limits that you see in the instructions are limits. If you can write it in 100 words instead of 200, or 50 instead of 200, always write more succinctly. It doesn't have to be 200 words. I'd much prefer you to answer it in a sweet and simple format, as long as you're fully answering the question. The second thing is, I want to remind you to use your drop grades strategically. Review the syllabus about this. You are able to drop 1 discussion activity and 3 independent study activities. So if you aren't able to finish an independent study activity, you can use your drop grade. That's what it's there for. This is new for me. I've added this term because I think that it gives students an opportunity to engage in some self-care, to be able to say, okay, this is going to be my drop assignment because this week I've got extra stuff going on for my family, or this week I got sick and just couldn't keep up. So they're there for you to also practice this skill of self-care. And I know that, with that you guys are all really motivated students and want to do your best and want to learn everything to the fullest. And in this course, though, I am expecting you to drop grades because I want you to practice taking care of yourself and maybe lowering your standards a little bit and allowing yourself to take care of yourself. One of my pet peeves about self-care and how professors talk about self-care is that a lot of times grad students are just told, you better take care of yourself. Self-care is important. You don't want to burn out, but then here's all this homework to do, right? So this is one attempt that I am making to help you guys out with being able to make some decisions to not do an assignment. because as you've noticed in the in your grade so far, if you turn in the assignment and you answer everything fully, you're going to get 100. Okay. This class is a lot of reflection and processing, and I can't put a grade on that. All I can put a grade on for you guys is whether you did it or not, because it's more about the experience of doing it and learning. So I want you to practice saying, I'm just not going to have time to do that assignment because XYZ, like sleeping or eating dinner or going for a run or working at your job or taking a nap, is more important right now, because self-care is important. And that's what I want you to think about with your drop grades. And then lastly, ask for help. That is literally my job, is I'm here to help. If you are getting behind on assignments, or you are wondering what the most important thing to do is, I'm always happy to strategize with you. Don't hesitate to reach out to me, shoot me an email. In a lot of cases, I am often willing to set up a Zoom chat with students if you want to talk about course material or are having trouble with organizing your time.